Norman, Oklahoma. It's the SEC on ESPN. Do I need to say it twice, Andre?
No, you're okay. You're okay, my man.
Temple wins the toss, and they will receive the opening kickoff. Zach Schmidt sends it away. No chance for E.J. Wilson. And the Owls will take over at their 25-yard line. Kark, Oklahoma likes what it has on defense, and it starts with a terrific middle linebacker.
Oklahoma linebacker, he fit. Thing about this program, and he could have gone to the NFL, and in the offseason, he thought he was a lock to leave for the draft, but then he thought hard about it all, and it's more to give this program. And he's on the field right now. He's led the Sooners in tackles the last 2 years. He is a live wire, and he's used Brian Bosworth, the great linebacker in the 80s from the Sooners, as a mentor. It's all about leading. Leave your legacy, and it starts ushering into the SEC tonight.
Brock will throw on first down. A little too hot. Incomplete. Intended for Antonio Jones. 2nd and 10. Forrest Brock, we mentioned, a junior college transfer. First start at this level. Temple had E.J. Warner last year.
Yeah, he's an athlete himself now. He's very fast. He just lacks experience. Plays relaxed. Had a great fall camp, won the job, and they feel confident in his abilities to lead this team.
Brock will keep and runs into a nimbus cloud of crimson, only a gain of 2. Impact players are brought to you by Home Depot.
Yeah, guys that are going to affect this game on both sides of the ball. Dante Wright for Temple, he's their deep threat. Jaden Jackson, a freshman for OU on the defensive line. Brent Venables, he keeps a young guy that can play. Jackson came in and just won the job.
Overshot Dante Wright, and Temple goes 3 and out, and Oklahoma will get its first turn on offense.
Yeah, the jitters are still there for Forrest Brock. You could see it in his first 2 pass attempts. Got to settle him down. You know, once you've thrown one, he gets that first completion. They thought by running him on a design quarterback run that would get his footing and settle him into this game. It hasn't happened yet.
Dante Atten, the Australian, to punt, and Peyton Bowen waits inside his own 35. Rugby style punt. It takes a Temple roll, downed right off the SEC logo, a 49-yard kick. And we get to see Jackson Arnold and the Sooners offense. Arnold, out of high school, a 5-star recruit. Last year, played in 7 games, only 1 start. That was the Alamo Bowl. A little turnover prone, but the upside for this kid, Andre, is undeniable.
Yeah, he is super talented, highly recruited. You mentioned it, a Under Armour All-American out of high school. He's got everything you need to play the position.
On first down, a reverse. Deion Burks, the transfer from Purdue, where he was the Boilermakers' top receiver last year.
It's pretty much a remade off a defense for Temple, and they do a heck of a job of just kind of staying at home, not getting fooled by the eye candy. Guys pursuing, got a fast defense.
Arnold takes a hit, punches in the launch code, and connects. Jalil Farouk inside the 25 of Temple, a gain of 47.
Boy, what you love about this is Arnold reading the field and then standing in there, knowing you're going to get hit, but delivers an absolute dime. That is the definition of throwing a guy open.
Screen to the outside. That's Burks. His first catch as a Sooner. This is an offense. They love their wide receivers as deep as anybody.
That's the
wide out.
Yeah, that's the strength of their offense.
Underrated running back room. The question is the offensive line, where they had to replace all 5 starters from last year.
Can they protect Jackson Arnold?
On the ground. And that is Gavin Sawchuk, who finished last season with 5 straight 100-yard games.
Yeah, Oklahoma would love to get in the end zone here and put a lot of pressure on Temple. Temple wants to hold to just a field goal attempt right here. Buckle down, play everything in front of the first down marker, and come after Jackson Arnold. Don't allow him to sit back with time.
Arnold using his feet. Gets a great block on the perimeter and tumbles for a first down, a gain of 7.
That's what we talked about at the top, is his ability, the mobility of Jackson Arnold. It forces a defense to play 11 on 11. When he can run the ball and pull it down with that type of mobility, boy, that's a lot of pressure on a defense.
And we get our first whistle, our first flag.
The previous play is under further review, where the runner made the line of game. Timeout.
And so they'll check the spot on what was ruled a first down run by Jackson Arnold. This is an Oklahoma team, Andre, on offense. New offensive coordinator, Seth Littrell, former Sooners fullback. We mentioned the offensive line, essentially a new starting quarterback, but they've got the guys on the outside and in the backfield.
Yeah, they've got everything they need. Littrell coming back home. He was excited. Told us this is a dream come true for him to coach at OU after having played here. They got an outstanding quarterback, and the receivers lead the way.
It appears that Arnold does have the line to gain.
I mean, you're talking about 5 of the top 6 returned at receiver, and then they bring in Deion Burks from Purdue as a out of the transfer portal. Boy, they can throw it around with the best of them.
Now today they are without Nick Anderson, who was banged up at the end of camp. He's being held out as a precaution, and they did lose Jaden Gibson
After
for the
further review,
season.
the runner was stopped short of the line to gain. It'll be 4th down and 1.
I do remember a time where Oklahoma had to replace 4 out of 5 starters on the offensive line. They had all these skill position players. Brent Musburger will remember this too. And BYU, in the opening game of the season, upset the Sooners.
Yeah, that was with Sam Bradford, who hurt his shoulder in that game.
You're absolutely right.
Oklahoma will go for it here on 4th and short. Two tight end set. They run it behind that new look offensive line, and Sawchuk gets the push.
I mean, and it took a push to pick up the first down. Aggressive decision by head coach Brent Venables.
The tight end Roberts motions out. Arnold moving the pocket, completes, touchdown, Bauer Sharp.
Well, we saw him drive one down the field to Jalil Farouk, and then the touch that was put on the football there was just flat out outstanding. He watch right here, number 10 is Sharp's just going to come across the formation and watch the touch on the football. That's excellent. Good work, drawing a defender's eyes and then touching it right over the top.
Sharp, a transfer from southeastern Louisiana, where he was originally a quarterback. The extra point,
kind of outgrew the position,
by Tyler Keltner is good. Well, remember they had that Belldozer package here in Norman about a decade ago. Might have something with Sharp down the road with that.
Well, they're showing that they're going to spread the ball around to everyone in this one.
Maiden voyage for Oklahoma in the SEC. It didn't go so well for these programs, but context is important. You look at the preseason SEC poll, Oklahoma finished 8th. This is a team that's 16th in the preseason AP poll. It gives you an idea of what you're walking into.
No, it's tough, and when everyone you talk to about why is the SEC different? Well, it's the depth on the offensive and defensive lines that you have to make sure your team is buttoned up and you have that depth to compete every single weekend.
It is quite the Labor Day weekend here in week 1. Saturday, we've got Clemson and Georgia. These two have won 4 of the last 8 national titles, although Clemson's been in a little bit of a college football playoff drought. Cam Ward and Miami. The big transfer addition at quarterback. Canes looking for a bounce-back season against Florida. Then Sunday in Vegas, USC and LSU. 2 teams replacing Heisman-winning quarterbacks.
That last one there at Florida State, you're talking about bouncing back, looking for a bounce-back game. They're definitely looking for it.
Lost to Georgia Tech in Dublin last weekend. On first down, the handoff is to Joquez Smith, the sophomore out of Tampa. Picks up a couple. Second down and 8. This defensive line, Andre, has been rebuilt for Oklahoma, and we could see some promising young players up front as this game goes on.
And the same thing on the other side, Anish, for Temple. Their offensive line rebuilt. Wisdom Quarshi try to run behind him. Their right guard has started 24 games in the last 3 years, the most experienced player on the offensive line for Temple.
Temple in Stan Drayton's 3rd season. They went 3-9 the last 2 years. And that's a nice call there. Dante Wright getting to the outside.
One of our impact players making himself available. Was the team's leading receiver last year with 39 catches, over 500 yards. Temple struggled because of the lack of depth up front. They had a tremendous amount of injuries along the offensive line. Had to play a bunch of true freshmen last year.
And Stan Drayton only has 6 players left from the team he inherited a couple years ago. Pressure off the edge, and Brock's got to kill it. 2nd and 10. Kendall Dolby with the backup with a surround sound here in Norman.
Yeah, trying to set up a screen to their tight end, James Della Pesca. And just the heat, the pressure coming too fast right now for Forrest Brock. Got to get him settled in the passing game. A couple of completions will do that. We were trying to get him an easy one there with a screen pass.
Brock 0 for 3. They'll keep it. Manages to get across the 40. The ball is out. Sooners say they have it.
The one thing that Temple talked about when we had a chance to visit with them this week, number one thing was to play clean. You cannot go on the road and turn the ball over, is what Stan Drayton told us. And I mean, that's exactly, and you certainly can't do it, Anish, on your end of the field.
Ethan Downs forced the fumble. The Sooners take over in plus territory. 9:50 to go, quarter number 1.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
Over the last quarter century, nobody has had a quarterback room like Oklahoma.
Yeah, and a guy that can spread it around like Jackson Arnold is stepping in. But here, I'm going to take a shot. Here in plus yardage territory, sudden change because of the turnover. I'm going deep.
Taylor Tatum, the freshman, the #1 running back in his class, in the backfield. He gets the call. His first carry is a Sooner, and he's inside the 40, a gain of 4. Impact players brought to you by Home Depot.
Jackson Arnold, obviously one of those, and then Deion Burks as well. One of the slot receivers transfer from Purdue.
Back to the tight end, Sharp, who had the touchdown. And he looks to have enough for a first down.
Boy, they seem to have some chemistry, don't they? A nice touch pass to Sharp for the touchdown. And then there, just knowing where to go. Sharp is a good route runner, and he's being rewarded because of it.
Burks on the fly sweep. Boy, he's got some wheels. This kid's a weight room wonder, too. He's 5'9", 190. One of Bruce Feldman's freaks. Squats 540, benches 400.
Versatile player that can play inside at slot. You can move him outside as well. And he has great hands, and they just rave about his route running.
The injured player is the starting center for Oklahoma, Branson Hickman.
Test that depth here early for OU along the offensive line.
They lost a good one up front, and Andrew Rame. Hickman, the SMU transfer. We mentioned Deion Burke's prowess in the weight room, and Andre, this guy is a pocket Hercules, if you will.
Yeah, he is, and he just kind of enjoys the weight room, and he embraces it. He is well put together. He can play a lot of different positions because of the strength.
With Hickman out of the game, Garen Hatchett, the Washington transfer.
Yeah, and he missed the spring with an injury.
Yeah. He'll take over at center. On the ground here on second down. And get the edge. It's Javonte Barnes, who really had a promising freshman season. Had a foot injury, needed surgery. Wasn't quite right at any point last year. They're expecting big things with a healthy Barnes.
Yeah, they do, and they talked to us about rotating backs throughout this game.
Arnold to the end zone. Touchdown. It's Deion Burks.
Nice timing, and again, someone right in the face of Jackson Arnold, and he throws a dime to the transfer Burks. The pressure right in his face as he gets rid of the football. Well, that's operating at a high level right there, and wouldn't know that it's only his second start of his career.
Pretty good debut in front of the home crowd. 5 for 5, 85 yards, 2 TDs.
It's a perfect start for Jackson Arnold. A little bit different than his first start in the Alamo Bowl, where he missed his first 4 passes.
Yeah, threw 3 interceptions in that game. 14-0 Oklahoma. So turnovers and turnover margin, a big issue for Temple last year, minus in that category by a significant margin. They only had 5 takeaways as a team, and then they cough it up on the road against a heavily favored Oklahoma team, and the Sooners turn it into 7.
Yeah, and here Temple, when they get the ball back, it's almost to the point where you got to go put some points on the board so that this doesn't become a runaway freight train.
Temple number 17 is now number 45. 17 is now 45.
The speed right now of Oklahoma offensively is a little bit too much for Temple to handle.
Temple's head coach Stan Drayton telling us that how the guys were pumped coming to the Palace on the Prairie, the history, the tradition, playing in front of Oklahoma. They tried to sell it as, we're not just here as a warm-up for the Sooners. And Temple will start shy of its 25. Saturday night in the SEC on ESPN Plus and the SEC Network Plus. Mississippi State, led by their new head coach, Jeff Levy, who had been the OC at Oklahoma. They'll take on Eastern Kentucky at 6. Ole Miss and Furman. Auburn home for Alabama A&M. Third offensive series for Temple. And E.J. Wilson will be the running back. Forrest Brock 0 for 3 with the fumble. On the fly sweep, this is Ashton Allen. He spent the last 4 years as a sprinter on the USC track team.
Yeah.
First time playing football since high school. He's got future Las Vegas Raider written all over him.
Yeah, he is super fast. I mean, they talked about 10.6 in the 100 meters and trying to get him going. He's a big receiver at 6'3", about 220 pounds, and just finding his way back to the football field.
Incomplete, tipped, third down.
And here is where they've chosen to run the quarterback on earlier third downs in this game. But Forrest Brock can give you that element when things break down. But I think OU's going to be, they have a spy and Danny Stutzman to make sure that Brock doesn't pull it down and run it.
Keep it on the ground, and Wilson plunges ahead, and he gets just enough for a first down. The FIU transfer known for his speed.
Well, someone lost a shoe, and one of the safeties just took it and threw it about 20 yards down the field. But nice job of just knowing where to get to pick up the first down. E.J. Wilson is his shoe that came off after the tackle. Lewis just picked it up and tossed it. It's no sportsmanship in that. Not yet.
Oklahoma all over it. Kobe McKenzie blowing up the play at the line of scrimmage.
I mean, everything opened up, and it was just one-on-one, the quarterback and McKenzie right in the middle. And he's just kind of going to shoot the gap in here. Watch him play the run. Now it's just one-on-one. What a heck of a tackle. But staying at home, not getting fooled by the eye candy, and making a heck of a play.
Pesca, the tight end, in motion. And that one too high, too much for Antoine Littleton. Big 240-pound running back who transferred in from Maryland.
Kind of knowing where your safety valve is, you just got to throw him a catchable ball. And I think the jitters is still there for Forrest Brock. In this atmosphere, he has yet to settle himself in. 0 for 4, 0 for 5 to start the game now.
Now, we told you his last game that he started was in front of 110 people. 80,000 strong tonight. Bowman cheating into the box.
They're coming.
Edge pressure. Brock goes down. Grayson Halton, the junior from San Diego. It's fourth down.
Boy, a heck of a job of just going around the edge. He's going to just go around the edge here. He's going to come this way and just right into the lap of the quarterback. An excellent move, and then when you get there, you got to finish. And Grayson Halton did exactly that. Was a tight end in high school who they've converted to the defensive line, and boy, is he off to a good start.
Dante Atten will punt it away. And this takes a Temple bounce. And finally dies inside the 15, a 59-yard punt.
Let's take a look at the QBs and what they're doing today. You see Jackson Arnold perfect, 5 for 5, 85 yards, and 2 of those completions for touchdowns, and you're still waiting, if you're a Temple fan, for that first completion for Forrest Brock. Once he gets it, he'll settle in, but you've got to find the hands of a receiver and have the receiver secure it. It's a bit different for certain guys. Some guys are, you need a quick hitch or a slant. Some want to run the football to settle in. I like to get hit first, and then hey, the nerves are gone, let's play.
Speed option. Arnold caroms across for a short gain. Kark.
You know, Anish, you were talking about the past Sooner greats at quarterback. Jackson Arnold is actually the highest rated OU quarterback recruit in the ESPN 300 era. And that's saying something when 4 Sooner quarterbacks have won the Heisman the last 25 years. We're seeing his arm, but he loves to run the ball. As a youth, he played running back for 3 years for his father, Todd, who was a running back at Wofford. Taught him how to hit the hole. So we see the arm, you see the legs. He's the total package.
Board number 32 was a running back for 2 years for the Dickinson Vikings.
Oh, boy. That time, Latrell Jean gets Arnold. This was a rebuilt Temple defense. They hit the portal hard, including Jean, who came from FAU.
Yeah, he plays with tremendous energy, and he's a really good player. They are fired up about him being at Temple and finishing his career there.
He wears one of those single digits given to the toughest Temple players, the highest honor of the team.
Maybe a draw play here.
3rd and long, that one thrown behind his intended target. Wanted Roberts, the tight end.
Boy, the punt set up all of this. You get backed up inside your own 15. The play calling changes a little bit. You're a little more protective if you're the offense. Temple able to make a couple of plays defensively. Going to get the ball back with some decent field position here.
A first punt forced by this Temple defense. It's a secondary that imported 4 players through the portal.
Basically, the entire defense is new. I feel like they're faster. I feel like they can compete in their conference.
Luke Elzinga punts. Dante Wright lets it bounce. And it skips out of bounds near midfield.
Temple has amazing representation, not only nationally but worldwide. 8 countries represented on this year's roster, the most foreign countries represented by any school in the FBS. Australia, Canada, England, Germany, Sweden, Tonga, and the United States. And when you look at this roster, it's always had the core of that Philly, South Jersey representation, but they're going worldwide too, and it's an amazing accomplishment by Stan Drayton and his staff in showing that this game is not just in the United States, it's worldwide.
I'd imagine a higher per diem on those international recruiting trips too.
Keep an eye on Allen. He's the speed guy for Temple.
They empty it out. Screen pass thrown low, and that's a loss of 2 on the play. Joquez Smith.
So you get your first completion, but it's for negative yardage.
Yeah, so you go from 0 for 5 for 0 to 1 for 6 for -2.
-2. Got to get this offensive unit going, and sometimes with early in the season, that's tough. You got so many new players playing together, and the offense not having enough work. It's tough to get the chemistry to move the football with consistency.
This is a 2 tight end set. They started in empty. And not much there on the draw play. Dejon Terry got in the way. Joquez Smith for no gain, maybe a yard. 3rd and long now for Temple at a drive that started near midfield.
Yeah, he's a transfer from Tennessee, but he's the only defensive tackle to start a game last year, so they're relatively new on the inside with Jaden Jackson, a true freshman, starting. Dominic Williams inside as well, and Terry's in there for him.
Williams, a coveted transfer coming from TCU. Brock wants right. The ball is tipped, and it's picked. Kanai Walker off the deflection.
It looks like Kendall Dolby tipped the ball, and it's just like the tip drill that you run in practice. You get a chance to tip it in the air, and you're hoping one of your teammates is in the area. Well, that's exactly what happened. Excellent job by Dolby to get it in the air.
This is a talented Oklahoma secondary, and the coaches told us Walker was the most consistent corner throughout camp.
And this is where I'm going deep again. That sudden change, keep an eye up top for receiver Burks.
-20 turnover margin for Temple last year, -2 tonight. Arnold under pressure, lost the football. It was Jean, but there's a flag down.
Maybe a false start if they're stopping it before the ball snapped.
Before the snap, false start. Offense, number 15. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Brennan Thompson, the receiver.
Ready to get deep. Anxious. Got to settle in there, big guy. It's a transfer from the University of Texas. It's the flinch just a little bit early. Kind of surprised they called it. Usually they out wide. It's got to be. That was really close. It's got to be obvious.
Screen pass back to Thompson, and he can't spin away. Got right back to the line of scrimmage.
It's well played by Louis Fry. The outside stayed at home, and then when you get a chance to get a guy on the ground, you have to. This is important for Temple to not allow a first down in this possession, this set of downs.
Especially after the turnover. Burks motions out. Over the middle, there's the tight end Sharp again. And he gets back to the original line of scrimmage plus a yard. So 3rd down and 9 coming up here for Oklahoma. And this could very well be 4-down territory.
Yeah, there are 2 types of tight ends. One's that you move around, that's Bauer Sharp. And then you have guys that are in line, good blocking tight ends, the big old, 260-pound guys that can secure the edge for you.
3rd catch for Sharp.
They'd love to move him around here in the slot.
Time for Arnold. And can't get it to Andrell Anthony. Good defense there by Ben Osweke.
It's excellent defense. It's from my neck of the woods at Foster High School. The Fort Bend area. Nice break on the football, and they brought in a lot of guys. He's a junior college transfer from Blinn. If you know anything about Blinn Junior College, they produce.
Yes, they do.
Really, really good players.
This is going to be about a 51-yarder for Tyler Keltner. Career-long 54, first field goal attempt as a Sooner.
Lenny Long.
And good. Ten points off turnovers for Oklahoma in this opening quarter.
Got to clean it up, and that's one of the things that Temple coaching staff preached this week to us. It was play clean, and so far they haven't here in the first half.
This season, All-State celebrates every field goal and extra point made with a donation to the participating university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, All-State.
You've got to find a way to get Forrest Brock going. Some easy hitch routes, some slants. Just go through the tree and have him complete a few so he starts to build a little confidence. The guys around him start to feel a little more confident that he can get it done in the huddle. He's got to have a couple of completions in this drive.
And well, it sounded like when we talked to the coaches that Temple would try to run the ball early, take some pressure off of Brock, just could never get even a first down on those first couple of drives to get in any sort of offensive rhythm.
They've got to figure out, whether it's the running game where but in order to run the football against OU, because I think they're just too dominant between the tackles, you've got to spread them out with the pass, and then once you get everyone spread out, it's a little bit easier to run the football.
They also said get through the first quarter. Well, that's been a challenge too. Oklahoma's first year in the SEC, making the move from the Big 12 with Texas, and Sooners will play a heavyweight schedule in their new conference. Georgia, 39 straight regular season wins. They had a pretty good win streak here in Norman many years ago. Georgia is preseason #1. They open
Clemson this week, though.
And then Kalen DeBoer takes over at Alabama after Nick Saban's retirement.
Absolute right guy.
Why do you say that?
Because he's a winner. He's won everywhere he's gone. The stage is not too big for him at Alabama. and he'll win a lot of football games there.
Right now, Oklahoma's defensive front continues to win up front.
Yeah.
That's our Mason Thomas. He's a guy who's been limited by injuries the last 2 years, but had a terrific camp, according to reports.
There's so much talent in the middle. David Stone, another true freshman, who's out just tremendously talented. Halton, Terry, Sanders, Williams. The names go on and on between the tackles for OU defensively.
And number 65, Jaden Jackson. They love him. He's a true freshman starting on this defensive line. Maybe the biggest surprise when the week 1 depth chart came out.
No doubt about it, but that gives you a chance to compete in the SEC when you have that type of depth inside along the defensive line.
Oklahoma has come out and put up 17 in the opening quarter, taking advantage of a couple of Temple turnovers. College football primetime presented by Ram Trucks. Second quarter here at Norman, Oklahoma. Sooners up 17-0.
You know what all that means? A lot of success. Tremendous amount of success here.
14 conference titles in the Big 12. No one else had more than 4. Brett Venables now in season 3 as head coach. One of the most accomplished defensive minds in the sport for a long time. And Dante Wright turns that into the biggest gain of the evening for Temple, 27. And it's Forrest Brock's first completion for positive yards.
That's a heck of a job of going up, climbing the ladder, and making a play. And he's one of our impact players for a reason, and it's because of plays like that. Temple needing to get jump started here. Dante Wright trying to help this offense.
He was Temple's leading wide receiver last year. Started at Colorado State. On the ground, and that's big, Antoine Littleton. Andre's got one of those nicknames. They call him Lil Twain. Oklahoma used to have a basketball player. Remember Tiny Gallon?
Yeah.
Tiny wasn't tiny.
Yeah. He's got a ton of experience coming over from Maryland, where he played in 26 games there. He's the bruiser type at 6'1", 240 pounds. Going to carry it a lot for this Temple team throughout the year.
A couple of years ago, had a 120-yard game against Michigan. A former 4-star recruit. Therese Worthy now is in the game at running back. Brock keeps on the option.
And one thing he did there was get himself down and protect himself as well as the football. First turnover of the game was a fumble by Brock after a decent run. Now getting himself to 3rd down and still 3rd and long, but pick up 7. Where you run into trouble is when you're behind the down and distance marker when it's 3rd and 12 or so.
Oklahoma rushes 4. Over the middle, it's Wright again through a minefield, and he'll be stopped short.
Maybe a fumble.
He may have lost the football. Oklahoma says they've got it.
He took a big shot in there, and they indeed have turned it over for the 3rd time. Just right in the middle of the field, they set a little middle screen for Wright, Dante Wright. The ball comes loose. Oklahoma going to go back to work when we come back.
Welcome back to Norman, and a huge caused turnover by Danny Stutzman, who's the star middle linebacker. And I'm with the biggest legend of them all when it comes to Sooner linebackers, Brian Bosworth. And I know you have a relationship with Danny. How would you describe it?
You know, it's just to see his growth. I mean, I'm not going to say parental, you know, but as a coach, kind of watching on the outside and knowing what he's going through and the challenges he's had to go through, and his leadership, how it's grown, his character, making the big decision about coming back for this next year. I think it was a wise decision for him, and he is the leader of that defense. And, you know, it's time we had a generational linebacker. We've been good in a lot of places. We've had some great ones over the past. but it's time for us to go from good to great. And I think Danny's got that special stuff inside.
When you watch him play, where do you see a little bit of yourself in him?
You know, it's a different game, so it's hard to see the same similarities. I mean, sometimes I get frustrated because I want to go talk to him. I say, man, you getting that B-gap, man, you go in there like you got something on fire. But it's a different concept that they have to play with because it's such a spread out personnel. So the game is played different. Everything's outside the hash marks, as opposed to inside the hash marks. But instinctively, I see what he gets himself through traffic well, and he makes plays in space, and I think that's huge for linebackers in this type of game.
You have a defensive head coach now in Brent Venables. What excites you most about that?
That he got us ready. When he took over, we didn't have what we needed in the cupboard. He wasn't afraid to go out and pick the pieces that was needed both on the offensive side of the line and the defensive side of the line. We're complementary now on defense. We got guys in the front that can make plays, guys in the middle, guys in the end can make plays. And the offensive line, we got some key guys came in, during the transfer portal. So I like that they know that winning and losing starts and ends in the trenches on both sides of the ball. That's what he worked on. That's what he accomplished.
I loved watching you play when I was a youth. I had the bullhorn like you. I played linebacker. I couldn't hit like you, and I couldn't run like you. But thank you for your time today, Boz. You're a legend.
My pleasure. Boom.
I had a feeling that Jackson Arnold on that play had everybody spread out. Empty backfield. You knew what was coming, right?
It's the fourth
quarterback draw, baby.
And Arnold converts it. And one more thing, Stutzman and Boz, similar personalities. Downfield, incomplete. Wanted J.J. Hester, who's going to be the beneficiary of more wide receiver reps with the injury to Jaden Gibson.
And then going back to Boz, I mean, just a tremendous player, speed, just the nastiness in which he played the position. A legend here at Oklahoma.
He was a legend in college football.
Yeah. You mentioned high school teammate, high school player that played here at Oklahoma, Rodney Anderson. Big hello to Cowboy.
Yeah, he said it's been a while since they've had that generational linebacker. Boz counts. Rocky Kalmus was another great one, a Butkus Award winner. And yeah, certainly Danny Stutzman should factor into the conversation, at least for the Butkus at the end of the season.
There's no doubt. He's a every down linebacker, can play sideline to sideline, and he's the leader of this Oklahoma team. Not just the defense, everywhere.
Third down now for Arnold in this offense. Pressure off the edge. Arnold steps up, completes. It's going to be shy. You got to expect them to go for it. Fourth down, Brennan Thompson the catch.
That was the situation earlier, and Brent Venables elected to keep the offense on the field. They're coming again. That's for Sawchuk with this one.
Temple crowding the box. And a timeout by Oklahoma.
Before the snap, timeout. Oklahoma.
Looked like a hole was going to develop as Sawchuk was going to pick it up with ease.
4th and 1, Sooners on the other side.
The new 12-team college football playoff begins December 20th on ESPN.
Yeah, that's how I get by.
A forecast of what the new 12-team playoff would look like based on the preseason AP poll. Florida State is in there despite the loss because we have not had a second poll yet. The Power 4 conference champions and then the next highest group of 5 conference champion all have a spot in the college football playoff, and the top 4 seeds go to the 4 highest ranked conference champions. Those all get first-round byes. Darren Hatchett's still in there at center. Sawchuk rifles his way inside the 30 for a 4th down conversion.
Vici Weewol, the right guard, does a heck of a job of just kind of cleaning it up and allowing Sawchuk to go to work. They've gone to him twice now in short yardage situations.
This offensive line will determine so much for Oklahoma, especially once they get into SEC play, as Sawchuk picks up 3.
He got hurt early last season. He's a patient runner with good vision, and they're expecting a really, really big year from him. It's 744 yards last year. He is looking to build on that.
Closed last season with 5 straight 100-yard games. Averaged more than 7 a carry in that span. Back to Sawchuk. And he's gobbled up right at the line of scrimmage. 3rd down.
Nice job by Demerick Morris in the middle of that Temple defense.
Andre, you brought up earlier that year Sam Bradford got hurt in the opener and Oklahoma had to replace most of its offensive line. What's different is now you can replace those guys with more experience in the portal, which is what Oklahoma did. But continuity and chemistry does take time.
You're still working on that, and so the more reps you get, the game reps you get together, the faster the chemistry builds and you start to trust one another up front.
On the slant through the hands of Brennan Thompson. 4th down. Arnold looking to the sideline, and here comes the field goal team.
Boy, waiting for him was Lewis Fry had he caught it. He has been so automatic that it's a little surprising that he would miss his receiver Thompson right in front of him.
A 42-yarder from the near hash for Keltner, who hit from 51 his first time. And he is 2 for 2. Oklahoma makes it 20-0 with 8:05 to go in the first half.
If Temple's going to get back in this game in East, they're going to have to stop turning it over. The first fumble, Forrest Brock. That's the first of 3. Good run, and it puts it on the ground. You throw it to a crowded area, it gets tipped, and an interception. And then a nice pass over the middle to Dante Wright. Secure the football in the middle of the field. It comes loose. That's the 3rd turnover for Temple. And OU capitalizing on each one.
E.J. Wilson. Driven back. Forward progress will give him the 20-yard line. Labor Day weekend. We got work for you. It's to watch college football. It's some incredible opening weekend college football. Clemson going to Georgia to take on the #1 team in the country. Miami. They've got Cam Ward, the big transfer quarterback, ACC preseason player of the year. They're at Florida. The Notre Dame A&M game, that might have playoff implications down the road. USC and LSU. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels gone. Enter Miller Moss and Garrett Nussmeier, the new quarterbacks, replacing a couple of Heisman winners.
Don't sleep on LSU. I always have something to say when it comes to the SEC by year's end.
E.J. Wilson
just nowhere to run.
Ambushed.
Nowhere to go. I mean, that's been the story of the game, is the play of Oklahoma's defensive line. Right in the middle. They're so talented. Jaden Jackson right up front in the middle with Stutzman behind him, and then Billy Bauman Jr. at safety. They're so strong right up the middle of that defense.
Now, Billy Bowman, one of the best playmakers in college football, period. 6 picks last year to go along with 3 pick sixes.
Pretty good high school in Denton Ryan here in Dallas.
High school teammate of Jackson Arnold. Same high school, Jackson Arnold. Forrest Brock over the middle, incomplete. He's now 3 for 10.
Intended for Reese Clark, the sophomore from Philadelphia. Got to hold on to that. And it's an accurately thrown ball that went right through the hands.
And Stutzman applying the pressure.
Well, he's a good player, isn't he? Fun to watch, man. Fun to watch. Just flies around, making plays, getting guys lined up, directing traffic right there in the middle. And here comes the blitz.
Try to set up the screen. It's tipped and it's incomplete. Flag down at the end of the play. Kip Lewis broke it up.
They have a lineman downfield. Siani, maybe the right tackle, I'm thinking. But they had the perfect play call. I mean, you get blitz like that, you have a screen call, there's going to be a lot of room to run, but you have to complete it first.
Siani, one of
Number
3.
8 was covered up. Illegal touching. Offense, number 8. He was covered up. That's a 5-yard penalty. Loss of down. 4th down.
That's the type of call that drives a coach nuts.
Yeah.
You're lined up wrong. Cost you a play.
It's the things you do before the ball is even snapped. You know, when you're jumping off sides or motion penalties, and then you get a play like that where a guy's covered up. Those should be always, you should be able to avoid those types of penalties. It's just discipline and reps.
Atten's punt finds Peyton Bowen. Room to run into Temple territory. 44-yard kick. And the Sooners have strong starting field position. On SECN tomorrow, number 15, Tennessee, their head coach, a Sooner legend, Josh Heupel. They'll host Chattanooga at 12:45 Eastern. That's followed by South Carolina and Old Dominion, then Kentucky and Southern Miss to cap the day. Mississippi State, former Oklahoma offensive coordinator Jeff Lebby in his first season.
We were just talking
Starkville,
how strong they are up the middle, and guys wearing a shirt with Stutzman and Bowman on it. Tough. Right up the middle is that Oklahoma defense.
Arnold off the RPO. Down the left sideline. Incomplete. Broken up. Wanted Brennan Thompson and Jamel Johnson, the Charleston Southern transfer, right there with him.
That's excellent coverage. I mean, excellent coverage. Step for step. And Johnson's quiet player, but he lets his play speak for him. The junior, he was right on time with that one.
Temple's defense has settled in. The offense just hasn't been able to get out of its own way.
And he likes to play in big games, Jamel Johnson. And the bigger the game, the better he plays.
On the ground and moving the pile, Javonte Barnes, flag down.
They're going to have a hold here. There hadn't been a whole lot of laundry for Oklahoma. Been pretty clean.
Personal foul. Hands to the face. Defense. Number 58.
Give him an automatic first down.
First down.
I think it's Sekou Chroma.
He's saying no. The officials say yes. Right here. Right to the face. Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Arnold again off the RPO. It's Thompson on the slant. Gain of 6.
Arnold's been hot, hasn't he? Started the game hot. He has not cooled off yet. Checking plays at the line of scrimmage based on what Temple's given him. Growing up in a hurry, Anish.
Barnes breaks a tackle, cuts it back, tumbles inside the 10-yard line. If he doesn't slip, he's in.
They are expecting big things from Javonte Barnes. And he had a couple of talented running backs at Oklahoma.
Arnold to the air, end zone, caught for a touchdown, Deion Burks.
Near perfection from Jackson Arnold. Just the ability to sort through reads and get the ball out on time has been outstanding. Little corner route from Burks. Going to set his man up, and I'll tell you what, that's right on time, and and extremely accurate.
He got this Oklahoma fan base excited back in the spring when he had a monster spring game. 2 touchdowns tonight in his Sooners debut.
That's when you can't hit him. But tonight he can be hit, and he's still dealing. I tell you what, nice inside slot fade. He's waiting for the body language to tell him when to put the ball in the air. Nice grab there by Burks. An even better throw. He's going to be something to deal with for a long time.
When you watched Arnold, again last year, mostly mop-up duty, and then he had the 1 start in the Alamo Bowl. He's the guy now with Dylan Gabriel having transferred again, going to Oregon.
Temple number 17 is now number 45.
Does he pass that sniff test? Yeah, we know 5-star, we know the pedigree. That you feel confident he's the next great one?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
He's running guys out of town. You know, they feel that pressure, and he's coming, and they know how good he is. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, I think he's got – he has lived up to the hype and maybe even surpassed it. Still a long way to go, but he is off to a tremendous start. 11 of 16, 114 yards, and 3 touchdowns here in the first half.
You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Oklahoma, season 1 in its new conference.
Yeah, your TV's not wrong.
No,
it's the SEC. OU is in the SEC.
Oklahoma and Texas making that long-awaited move. Kark?
You guys were talking about Jackson Arnold. When I spoke to him this week, he said this offseason he felt like it was his offense, and there was a common presence in spring ball and basically developing the relationship with the offensive line. 5 new starters, but these guys have had experience in other spots, and you know, he said his friendship and the development that he's had with them in terms of spending time this offseason with them, hangs out with them all the time. He said they're some of his best friends on the team. So although a new group, 5 new starters, Anish, you mentioned it earlier too, they have a wealth of experience from the transfer portal coming in with a lot of starts. And he said the one thing he won't do, he loves to cook Mexican food, but he's not inviting those big boys over because the bill would be too big.
And you run out of food.
Yeah, he's got to learn to take care of the guys up front, though. If they're showing you that they're taking care of you, they're going to protect you, go ahead and cook for them.
Oklahoma continues to win up front. Kendall Dolby the sack.
Yeah, what a play.
Fly sweep. Dante Wright can't get the edge. Another TFL. That's Billy Bowman. First team all-conference a season ago.
Bowman's a player. He can track. He's got great range at the free safety spot, or strong safety spot. Can play sideline to sideline. Just making plays. 4 tackles for a loss by this OU defense here in the first half.
3rd and long yet again for Temple.
Hard to do business when you're behind that down and distance marker.
Brock in trouble, looking for an escape route. Using his speed, gets to the sideline. It'll bring up 4th down with less than 4 minutes to go. He got 10 back on the play, and what do you do if you're Temple now? I know minus territory, scoreboard tells one story. I guess they'll punt.
You got to punt it. You got to punt it. But I thought Brock would turn up the field. You're that close to a 1st down. You know, you're trying to get back in this game. You're trying to fire up or gain the confidence and trust of your teammates. One way to do it is to try to lay out for that 1st down mark.
Bowman waits at his 20-yard line.
You got to take on a defender every once in a while as a quarterback, especially when you're down and the 1st down marker is within sight.
Before the snap, false start. Offense, number 21. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Some changes.
Now they switched out the return man.
Yeah.
Peyton Bowen in for Billy Bowman. Peyton's got a younger brother, Eli, a true freshman on the Sooners. Pretty good brother name combo, right? Peyton and Eli?
Yeah. It is.
Well, Andre, we're going to learn about Jackson Arnold real fast because Oklahoma's foray into the SEC features one of the nation's toughest schedules. Tennessee, top 15 team in the SEC home opener. You get Texas, that's the big rivalry game. Ole Miss is in the top 10 to begin the season. Missouri, Bama, LSU to close.
My alma mater next week against Houston here. And the thing about it is their first 4 games are home games, so they have an opportunity and an advantage to really start the season with a bang, especially if they can get by Tennessee in that one.
Ole Miss, Missouri, and LSU, all road games. Arnold off the pump fake. Now using his feet. Former running back. Nice block by Sharp upfield. A gain of 15.
And that's what, having that background as a running back, it kind of teaches you, benefits you. When you have to pull it down, you know exactly what to do with it. You know how to protect the football as a quarterback, having played the running back spot.
Arnold to the air, dropped by Hester. It stops the clock. And Andre, we are coming up not on the 2-minute warning, but the 2-minute timeout, which is new in college football this year.
Yeah, it is. Taking a page out of the NFL's 2-minute drill. A 2-minute warning.
It's not a warning.
It's not a warning.
It's a timeout.
Sounds better. Go ahead and make the change. Call it a 2-minute warning.
Gives it some more urgency, doesn't it?
It does.
A freshman, Carrion, makes the catch.
There's so many weapons for OU. We mentioned it earlier. 5 of their 6 top receivers coming back, and then they add Deion Burks, who has a touchdown reception in this game.
We haven't even seen Nick Anderson today.
No.
Held out as a precaution. He was dynamite as a freshman last year.
We're going to be hard to deal with.
A 2-minute timeout.
We'll take the break. The 2-minute timeout.
Coming up on this halftime report, what can the Sooners do this year in the SEC? We'll talk about their ceiling. How high is it? Plus, start your Saturday off with the top 15 matchup between Clemson and Georgia. What are the deciding factors in that game? And it is our first Friday here of Mulling It Over. Coach Dan Mullen, Joey Galloway, myself. We'll see you talk about the college football playoff. Anish?
Kelsey, thank you. Brent Venables' answer to being SEC ready was simple. He said their success in the league will depend on how well they hold up in the trenches.
Yeah, he got an offsides here, trying to just take a deep shot because he knew he had Temple's defense offsides on 3rd down. I mean, it's just been one mistake after the other. The 3 turnovers.
Offside. Defense, number 55. He was in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
A hands to the face penalty. And now an offsides where it's 3rd and long. And now you give them 5 yards to make it 3rd and short.
And likely 4-down territory.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And then they've proven that they'll go for it because on 2 occasions they've converted on 4th down.
Sultan Badmus, the guilty party, true freshman who this coaching staff feels has an incredible upside. Arnold will keep. Impacted in the backfield.
Get there.
And he'll lose a yard.
Nice job by the Temple front 7. A lot of white jerseys around Jackson Arnold. Design quarterback run. And they play it well. Nobody leaves. Excellent job inside.
Timeout. Temple. First of the half. 30 seconds.
So Temple will stop the clock. 1:48 to go 4th and 4. It's still plus territory, so if you're Oklahoma, you're Seth Luttrell. Are you calling off the punt team? Or you receive first in the second half, you punt, you play field position.
I'm going for it.
You are.
The way the defense is played.
I can see the
Absolutely
quarterback in you gleaming through your eyes.
I'm going for it. The way the defense for Oklahoma has played, I'm not afraid whatsoever.
Now this Oklahoma defense, 5 TFLs, only 62 yards allowed, and it's forced 3 turnovers. And the offense does come out there on 4th down.
He's got single coverage at the top.
3 for 3 on 4th down tonight.
If he chooses to go there. Burks in the slot. So it's man-to-man. You got a blitz coming. All these guys, bodies in there. Here they go.
Huge punt.
Nice job. Excellent job, Jackson Arnold.
Man of all seasons,
he can do it all.
30-yard punt to pin Temple at its own 5.
That's awesome. You see all these guys coming, nobody's back. Call for the pooch punt. And your quarterback does one heck of a job of knocking it down at the 5-yard line.
I know in your day at Houston,
I kicked. I didn't punt.
You would have been campaigning to go for it because you knew you weren't playing the second half.
And that was in high school. Simon Rodriguez did a heck of a job, along with some other guys that they were much better. Roman Anderson was a much better kicker than I was. But I did kick in high school.
In college, you had to get all your stats in the first half.
Could not punt at all whatsoever.
Oklahoma's got 2 timeouts, so does Temple. Smith, the running back, and he just gets mauled at the point of attack.
I mean, so many Sooners around the football.
Oklahoma.
It's going to be tough to move them off the ball. I mean, they've got depth. That's Halton again, who I mentioned earlier was a tight end in high school.
1 timeout left for the Sooners, 1:34 to go in the half.
Originally committed to Oregon before making his way to Norman. Well, that defense has been outstanding. 3 turnovers, as you mentioned, in these 5 tackles for a loss, and they've only allowed 62 total yards and no points. That is dominance by a defense.
It's a tall order for a Temple offensive line that is very young. A lot of these guys were thrown into the fire due to injuries last year. They played as true freshmen. They're still just in their second year. 3 starting O-linemen are second-year players for Temple, facing what is now an SEC team, but a juggernaut usually in Oklahoma. Dolby on the blitz. They set up the screen. Flag down.
Blocking the back is coming.
It was Smith on the reception.
And a perfect play call again. But mistakes keep haunting Temple.
Holding. Offense. Number 62. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. Repeat, second down. The clock will start on the snap.
James Faminu. Just, I mean, can't do that. Grab a guy around the neck. It's going to get the officials' attention.
Correction,
more times than not.
Correction, the clock will be on the ready.
Now make sure you take care of the ball right here, Anish.
Smith lost the football. If Oklahoma has it, that's the 4th Temple turnover, and the Sooners have it at the Owls 6.
I think it's Grayson Halton again that may have punched the ball out.
So that pooch punt backed up Temple.
It was. Halton again.
And guess who covered it up? Billy Bowman. The football seems to find him.
I'm just impressed with the entire unit, where it's just plays are just happening, and this is how This is the way Coach Venables wants to play. This is the defense that he wanted to put his print on.
Just for context, Oklahoma has 4 takeaways in the first half. Temple last year had 5 takeaways all season.
Where is Burks?
A chance for Barnes.
2 turnovers. 2 of the 4 have occurred in on Temple's own end of the field. So they're giving up a short field. They actually have more turnovers in this game than they do first downs.
Not the cocktail.
No, not on the road.
Sharp.
Not at home either.
In motion. Arnold rolls, throws. Touchdown, Oklahoma. Deion Burks with 3 TDs in his Sooner debut in this opening half.
Let's talk about it. Where's number 6? You have to locate him when he's down in the red zone because he's such a good route runner, a great route runner. Knows how to set up defensive backs. And Arnold, the timing between the two has just been flawless in this. Just barely enough room to squeeze it into Burks, and it finds a way to get into his hands.
Delay again. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Try.
This
So
is
that
where
backs up Oklahoma 5.
This is where I wish the NFL would go back to kicking extra points from the 2-yard. It just makes no sense that you can kick a field goal and get 3 points, but then the 3 points, the 1 point is longer than the 3. It makes no sense whatsoever. They haven't called me on. They need to call me for the rules on that level.
Being around you, I feel like they need to call you for a lot of things. 20 points off turnovers for Oklahoma in this first half.
It's amazing. It's dominance. They are dominating that side of the ball and living in the backfield of Temple. Can't get the running game started because they're so stout in the middle, and then the pass rush has harassed Forrest Brock continuously here in the first half.
A lot of new faces on the Temple sideline. 4th most scholarship newcomers in the FBS. 2nd fewest returning players. Only North Texas has less.
It's like 45% experience returned for Temple. That's a lot of guys to have to replace.
And a tall order.
Yes.
Week 1, go on the road, facing an Oklahoma team where you know everybody is jazzed for this new voyage into the SEC.
And now it's time to spread them out. See if Forrest Brock can complete a few passes here. With 36 seconds left. Go in. Out with an open mind and play a little freer.
E.J. Wilson fielding the grounder and forced out of bounds shy of the 20.
Right now, if you're Stan Drayton, let's just get to the locker room.
This was Temple's fear. The atmosphere, the noise, the crowd, the opponent. You get blitzed early and you have trouble recovering. They said we had to weather the first quarter. They couldn't do that.
Let's just go out. The message will be, let's go out in the second half, one play at a time. Let's hold on and secure the football and give ourselves a chance to score.
E.J. Wilson.
Nice run.
Turbines across the 30. Gain of 11. That'll momentarily stop the clock.
They've had moments offensively here and there, and then all of a sudden it's a turnover or a penalty at the wrong time that backs them up, and then OU can pin their ears back and come after them.
Under 2 minutes, first down. Stops the clock until the ball is spotted. Wilson again using that speed. Stutzman with the stop. And that will take us to the end of the first half. All Oklahoma. Jackson Arnold, 4 touchdown passes in his first home start. Deion Burks, 3 TD catches in his first game as a Sooner. And the defense pitches a shutout, forcing 4 turnovers. Kelsey and company after the break. Sooners, who will get the ball first here in the second half. Maddox Trujillo sends it away for Temple. And that goes out of bounds. It'll draw a flag.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team on the place at the 35-yard line.
We check in with Paul Carcaterra.
Well, Anisha just caught up with Brent Venables, head coach at Oklahoma. He's thrilled with the defense. Why wouldn't you be? Temple has 4 first downs, and Oklahoma has forced that many turnovers with 4. And he thinks they're so aggressive at the point of attack. He said they're popping to the ball. He loves the physicality of the guys up front, and some of those guys are new. And thrilled in terms of their development, the freshmen and the sophomores in the 2 deep. Offensively, Jackson Arnold, decision-making, he said, has stood out. He said it's been outstanding, so calm, and his presence has been felt by the entire team.
Arnold, 13 of 19 in the opening half, able to complete to Burks. 5 catches on 5 targets and 3 touchdowns for Burks. Not much there. And the one big loss for this offensive line for Oklahoma, their starting center, Branson Hickman, went down in the first quarter. So Garen Hatchett has come in, the Washington transfer, and is taken over at center.
Transfer from SMU, second team all-conference last year.
Arnold back to the air, backside pressure, and he is devoured. Cameron Stewart into the backfield wearing number 25 instead of his listed 91.
I know the score may not be indicative of, you know, Temple's defense, but they've had some moments at times during the game. Getting to Jackson Arnold there, and a couple of other times where they've had tremendous stops in the backfield. Now they got to hold up right here on 3rd and long.
One safety way back at midfield.
And nobody on Burke right now.
He's lined up in the slot, top of your screen. Running a drag route. Arnold hits him, and then Burks gets smashed by Eric Stewart, the JUCO transfer. 4th down.
Boy, that's tough. Grosser. All of a sudden, you're going to take a big shot, but he is. We showed you how he works out. He's built for it, for shots like that. Hops right back up.
Benches 400, squats 540 at 5'9", 190.
A lot of power in that body. But how about a stop from Temple? Forcing a punt here.
Dante Wright to return. Fair catch called for and made inside the 15. Here's tonight's progressive game flow.
And it's Jackson Arnold and his ability to make plays. The first touchdown pass to Sharp. The touch over the top. He comes back. He's got a dart one in to Burks. And again, on a fade route, showing some touch to the corner of the end zone, and then another one where he's got to knife one into Burks. 3 touchdown passes to Deion Burks, and another to Bauer Sharp. Boy, he has had one heck of a game.
Forrest Brock, zone read keeper, as we check in with Kark.
Well, gentlemen, Stan Drayton told me at the half they have to get the run game going for Temple. And you'd think down 34 points, I think it's more of a journey in terms of establishing some strength and confidence moving forward after game 1. And said the defense has actually been holding up, but the 4 turnovers have forced their defense to play a short field and putting way too much pressure on them. The offense needs to hold up their end of the bargain.
Brock, in his first career start at this level, got off to a tough start, was 0 for 5. 3 for 11 in that first half, a gain of 5 that time. Antonio Jones, Grambling State transfer.
He played for Coach Tyrone Carrier, the wide receiver coach at Grambling, and 3 guys followed him to Temple. So they have upgraded that position. He's a playmaker and looking to get him more involved, Antonio Jones.
Temple without a third down conversion tonight.
Need one here.
Brock upended. He gets the first, but a flag behind the play.
You get to 3rd and short.
Illegal formation. Offense. 5-player in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That's basically the second one of those for Temple, and they're coming at the wrong times now. I mean, you get to 3rd and short, and you think you got something to work with, and all of a sudden you end up in 3rd and medium. Got to figure it out again. Self-inflicted wounds have just terrorized this Temple offense.
Tight formation. Quick throw. Wright makes the catch. He's going to be a yard shy of the marker.
That's where you got to run the route past the down and distance marker to make sure when you catch it, you automatically have it.
Offense still out there. And now comes.
I couldn't imagine the ball's going to be snapped. Yeah, you got to punt it away here. Where you're trying to hard count to draw someone off sides. That'll be about it. I would have tried that and then, gone ahead and maybe spent a timeout and punt it away. Need to possess the football. Got to put first downs together.
Rugby style kick by Atten. Lands out of bounds inside the Oklahoma 45. A 37-yard kick. Both teams trade punts to open the second half. It's time for tonight's American Express game track.
Yeah, you see what Jackson Arnold's put together. 15 of 21, 127 yards and 4 touchdowns. 6 catches for Burks, and 3 of those have been into the end zone. Short fields for the Sooners because of the turnovers.
6th time tonight they've started at their own 40 or better. Sam Franklin, the transfer from UT Martin, where he ran for almost 1,400 yards last year and was the Ohio Valley Conference Offensive Player of the Year with his first carry as a Sooner.
They like him.
Yeah.
Slasher type. He's got another year.
Franklin, big hole. 1 man to beat. And driven out of bounds near the 20-yard line by Javier Morton, the safety, a gain of 31.
There's a lot to like about that, isn't it? I mean, set up blocks and then the speed through the hole. Wow, what a run. Excellent block up front. Jake Taylor, the right tackle, and Spencer Brown, I'm sorry, was in the game for Jake Taylor. Nice opening of the hole
right
there.
Snap, ball start. Offense, number 54. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Fabechi Weewu, the right guard.
I can take one more look at that run. Nice, excellent block by Weewu, as well as Spencer Brown, the right tackle. You go back, hand the ball to the officials, and thank the O-line if you're Franklin.
Cameron Stewart, the Rutgers transfer who had a sack earlier in this half, is the injured Temple player. We step aside, and 9.5 to go, third quarter. I think once the playoff rankings get unveiled, the thing to remember is just because you're in the top 12 doesn't mean you're one of the 12.
That's right.
Because if you have a team, let's say outside of the Power 4, ranked 25th, and that is the highest ranked conference champion outside the power fours. Arnold picks up 14 on the play. Well, they're getting in, and now it's going to bump somebody from the top 12 out.
Yeah, just get to your conference championship game and win it.
Jamel Johnson down for Temple, the cornerback.
It looks like cramps for Johnson. He has made some plays tonight. Transfer out of Charleston Southern.
It's a defense that used the portal to upgrade.
And at times has had some success in this game.
Yeah. We saw Latrell Jean get a sack. Jean and Keaton wearing single-digit jerseys as transfers. Those single-digit jerseys signal Temple tough, highest honor on the team, and voted on by the players. That's enough for a first down.
I don't know that I'd be running Jackson Arnold at this point in the game. You're up 34-0. I understand you're trying to score again, but it might be time for Michael Hawkins Jr. or Casey Thompson, who is transferred to Oklahoma.
A little extracurriculars going on at the end of the play. J.J. Hester for Oklahoma. Torrey Richardson, another transfer corner for
After
Temple.
the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 13. Penalty is half and distance for goal. First down.
You can see it down at the bottom of the screen.
Oklahoma number 13 can stay in the game.
Yeah, his helmet comes off. Normally by rule you have to leave, but because the helmet came off on a penalty against the defense, he can stay in. Handoff is to Franklin. And he is wrangled for a loss of about a yard. One of the reasons Franklin wanted to come to Oklahoma was to learn from running backs coach DeMarco Murray. Murray not on the sidelines tonight for the Sooners, serving a one-game suspension for recruiting violations, but you have him as your running backs coach. That is quite a carrot to dangle to any prospective running back recruit. Incomplete. Wanted Burks, who already has 3 touchdowns, which, by the way, makes him the first Oklahoma Sooner with 3 receiving touchdowns in his Oklahoma debut.
You know, you can look at some guys and just their body language tells you that they love the game. Burks is that way. That is exactly that effort. Ball's thrown way outside of him. He can't get to it, but he's going to give you the effort every single play. And he hasn't come off the field. Loves the game.
On 3rd and goal, Arnold to the air. Dancing. Throws it away.
I don't know if there's anybody in the area. And it just kind of looked like he may have gotten away with one.
Stewart, the pressure. Yeah, the question is, was he outside the tackle box? And does the ball cross the line of scrimmage? If that's the case, no grounding. And now a late flag.
Yeah.
Offense. The ball be placed at the spot.
There's no one there.
Lost it down. 4th down.
No one in that area when he threw it. Checked 2 boxes, but he needed a receiver in the area for the 3rd box.
Let's bring in Matt Austin, our rules expert. Matt?
Yeah, guys, unless I'm missing something, the quarterback was definitely outside the tackle box. He got the ball past the line of scrimmage. He doesn't have to have a receiver in the area for that. So I'm not sure why there's a flag here.
Outside the tackle box. Now, was there a question as to
did it cross the
line of scrimmage? Yeah. I think that might have been in question, Matt.
It doesn't have to cross in bounds. It just has to cross, period. So even if it crosses out of bounds, it's still okay. And I wouldn't be surprised if replay's looking at this and talking to them on their crew communication. But maybe not.
And they just stopped it. You're absolutely right,
Week 1 for everybody.
Well, the ball crossing the zone is reviewable, so.
Correction. The quarterback was outside the pocket, got the ball beyond the line of scrimmage. Therefore, it's an incomplete pass. 4th down at the 4-yard line.
Well, they get it right. That's the important thing.
They were thinking like I was in terms of a receiver in the area, but here we go.
Yeah, those first 2 conditions are met, right? That's the...
Yes. It's that other league I was thinking about.
Right. We've been watching a lot of preseason football. Tyler Keltner will come on for a field goal try. He's hit from 50 and 42. This from 23. 4 years at East Tennessee State. Florida State last year for Keltner. He makes it 3 for 3 on field goal tries. Oklahoma tacks on 3 more. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. A big weekend of college football. Labor Day weekend. Clemson, Georgia on Saturday. Tigers looking to make a statement. Georgia, preseason #1. Florida, big season for Billy Napier in Gainesville, taking on what people feel may be a resurgent Miami team. Got Notre Dame, Texas A&M, USC, LSU, Sunday in Vegas. On Labor Day, BC and Florida State. And in the age of coaching movement, transfer portal movement, A&M and Notre Dame. Texas A&M's head coach Mike Elko came from Duke. Notre Dame starting quarterback Riley Leonard came from Duke.
Yeah. It's going to be a good football game. It's a great environment to play it in there at Kyle Field.
Officials wearing RR on their hats tonight, and that is in honor of the late Rogers Redding, a former college football official, spent a number of years in the SEC, later was the national coordinator of officials. He passed away at the age of 81 in April, and through the years, Matt Austin, I'm sure, can tell you too, just a great resource to everybody who worked in the game, and certainly officials, Matt.
Yeah, he certainly was. And on a personal note to me, he was really a mentor to me, and I owe a lot of my career to Rogers. So great individual, great official. Just couldn't say, better things about him.
Paul?
Anish, Rogers spent a bunch of time with one of the crews I was on a few years back as, a rules official in the booth. And I got to spend some time with him. And I remember one time we were in Atlanta and we both had a delay. We spent a few hours in the Delta Sky Club together. And he was just such a gentleman. And the two things that were really striking when I would think about Rogers, and we kept in touch. He'd email me over the last, bunch of years, always checking in. He loved his family. He always talked about his family, and he loved the sport of football.
Amongst the officiating segment of college football, a legend in his own time, Rogers Redding, 81 years old when he passed away this April.
What a gentleman he was. Yeah. I mean, just his
great man.
His presence was always felt, but he did it in such a calming sense, right? Like he made his points very clear, but he did it in such a beautiful way. He's going to be missed in the sport. I know Matt and the officials, the profound impact that he made on all of those will be everlasting.
3rd down and 9. Brock out of the backfield. Littleton perfectly designed. First down.
Have a late hit out of bounds as well to tack on to the end of that. Spears Jennings, the safety for OU, just escorts him out of bounds in a unique way. He's going out, and the officials, that's a little bit late.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 3, 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. First down.
Littleton bounced up right away. He's 6'1", 240. And the penalty gets Temple into Oklahoma territory.
But he doesn't look that big. He doesn't play that big. He plays like a smaller back. But you know he's got some thump with, you know, carrying 240 pounds around.
Terez Worthy is the running back. He's got speed. He's their home run hitter. Spins to the 36-yard line. Worthy led all junior college running backs in rushing yards last year. That was at Lackawanna.
Lightning in a bottle is what they describe him as.
And they're looking for somebody to seize the reins as the lead back in that room.
And he may be the one. He ran for over 100 yards 8 times last year in junior college.
Littleton, and sets up a third down inside the Oklahoma 35.
I'll tell you what, no one's quit. Dante Wright just blocked Des Malone to the ground. I mean, you're talking about a receiver still working hard. That's what you want to see if you're Stan Drake. Guys still competing no matter what the score is. And, you know, this is 4-down territory certainly for Temple.
To the air in traffic and hauled in by the Federalist John Adams, former walk-on, who's coming off a broken leg at the end of last year.
Yeah, he's a walk-on, but he earned a scholarship on August 19th. It's a heck of a catch and a throw, an even better throw. He's threading the needle between 3 Oklahoma Sooner players. I mean, right on time with it, and it allows, when you're on time like that, it allows John Adams to make a catch and protect himself knowing that he's going to get hit.
First trip into the red zone for Temple. Brock devoured.
Gotta know it's coming.
Ethan Downs and R. Mason Thomas combined.
You know, when you're in the shotgun, and you know I don't like it, right? I mean, we spent 2 years together, and you've heard me just shoot down the shotgun. When the snap is bad and you're getting blitzed, and you got to take your eyes away from the defense, man, that's tough to operate.
I didn't know it was just universal hate of the shotgun. I thought it was on 3rd and short.
Nope,
you didn't like the shotgun.
I don't like it. Never took a gun snap in college.
Quarterback draw, and Brock deleted again back at the 31-yard line. We've called Grayson Halton's name quite a bit tonight.
Yeah,
that was actually Ashton Sanders, though.
All the way down to the 19-yard line and started going backwards. The pass
Halton and Sanders.
Yeah, Halton's had one heck of a game. I mean, if it wasn't for Burks and his 3 touchdowns and the way he's looked, you'd be talking about a defensive lineman for maybe player of the game here.
And there's new faces on that defensive line. There's some guys who have maybe not played as much or been hurt earlier in their career. They like what they have up front.
For good reason.
And a whistle. Flag down. All the way back at the 3.
First charge timeout. Temple.
I mean, think about it. We've called
30 seconds.
Jaden Jackson's name, Dominic Williams, Jadon Terry. They've all made plays. David Stone, all those guys inside have just wreaked havoc. And if you can get that in the SEC pass rush from your defensive tackles where it's in a quarterback's face, man, you're well on your way.
Yeah, David Stone, who we haven't seen a ton tonight, was the crown jewel of this top 10 recruiting class. 5-star recruit, #1 D tackle. During camp, he led all interior D linemen in sacks, but the big surprise was his IMG teammate from high school, Jaden Jackson, was named a starter.
Strong, physical, plays with great technique, and he's mature. Talking about Jaden Jackson, very mature player. Stone there in your picture. I mean, they are loaded inside.
And you remember what Brent Venables did at Clemson with some young D tackles. Brian Brzee.
Oh, yeah.
Sooners showing blitz. Temple needs the 9-yard line. They check down. It's tipped. And Bowman did not hang on. Incomplete is the call.
Going on the field is an incomplete pass.
All the
Fourth down.
time is Bowman. Bowman Jr. is one heck of a player.
This would have been on SportsCenter if he hung on.
It goes up. Yes, it does. And, I mean, the ground, I don't know. Does the ground, looks like he's got possession, and the ground can't cause a fumble. Take a look at this. I don't know if he had it totally secured, though. That's close.
Boy,
man, that's
Ball
close.
Hawks, 6 picks last year, which was tied for 3rd in the country, and he took 3 back for a touchdown. Temple trying to get on the board. The field goal attempt is good by Maddox Trujillo. Temple said Trujillo is their #1 NFL prospect.
Yeah. Had a big, big leg.
And they called him Auto Maddox at Austin Peay. Saturday night football in the SEC on ESPN Plus and SEC Network Plus. Mississippi State now led by Jeff Levy hosting Eastern Kentucky. That's at 6 Eastern. Ole Miss.
That's a team to keep an eye on. A lot of guys back, 10 on both sides of the ball, coming back for Lane Kiffin.
Ole Miss gets Furman at home. Auburn welcomes Alabama A&M to the Plains. New quarterback warming up for Oklahoma. Michael Hawkins, the true freshman, 4-star out of McKinney, Texas.
5 is now number 88 for Temple. Correction for Oklahoma. Now number 88.
Oklahoma will begin at its own 25-yard line, 37-3. Sooners on top of Temple. First Friday night home game for Oklahoma here in Norman at Memorial Stadium. It's their first game as an SEC school. And Jackson Arnold will still come out, making his first home start. He started the final game last year, the Alamo Bowl against Arizona. 3 interceptions in that game. Tonight, 15 out of 23, 4 touchdowns, 3 to Deion Burks, the Purdue transfer. Quick throw, that's Anthony, Michigan transfer.
That timing, just catch and flip. That allows the receiver to get the depth. Ball's in the air in a spot where he can catch it, and then he's contacted to protect himself. Just the timing of that, the whole mechanism of that is what makes the play. Just getting the ball out.
Andrell Anthony was off to a strong start last year, then tore his ACL in the win against Texas. A lot of depth in that room. And we haven't even seen Nick Anderson tonight, held out as a precaution. Arnold has to eat that one. That's the Temple defense again. Tyquan King.
It's plays like that that makes me feel like Arnold should be on the sideline. You've got a game in hand, or you've got a comfortable lead, so to speak. Get the freshman some work here.
Is there worry about the offensive line? I know we're only 1 game in, and not even 1 full game in.
Well, I trust both sides of the coin here in terms of defense. That's an excellent throw between 2 players, and it's going to be just shy of the first down marker.
Bauer Sharp tried to sell it.
Yeah, punt it away on 4th and 1. Or at least give the impression they're going to punt it away.
Kind of wild. Oklahoma tonight, 0 for on 3rd down.
Wow. With 37 points, don't have a 3rd down conversion.
Now, they did go 3 for 3 on 4th down. And that'll be downed inside the 30, 35-yard kick. Sooners defense has done its job getting to the quarterback, forcing 4 takeaways.
I mean, they have been just outstanding, explosive between the tackles. The defensive tackles of Oklahoma have been unreal in this game. They've had some help on the outside edges a time or two, but the guys up front right in the middle of this defense, they are having some type of night.
7 tackles for loss, 4 sacks.
Only 123 total yards allowed.
Brock moves the pocket. Able to complete, starting to settle in just a bit. Antonio Jones.
You know, there's a lot of young bucks making plays on those highlights, and recruiting's going well for Brent Venables and the Sooners. Their 2025 class, seniors in high school now, ranked 10th in the ESPN class rankings. Offensive tackle Michael Fasusi out of Texas verbal last week. He's the 9th overall recruit in the country, 2nd-rated offensive tackle. And last year, the freshman right now, 8th overall, headlined by 2 #1 players, Taylor Tatum at running back, David Stone at defensive tackle. Guys, could you imagine running in the interior of a defense with David Stone and Jaden Jackson as high schoolers last year? That is insane. On the same team.
Unfair is what it is.
It's IMG. They're usually loaded with 4- and 5-star kids.
But 2 guys going to the same university that were rated that high, that shows you the type of job this coaching staff they're putting together and doing.
The challenge is you could have a top 10 recruiting class, and sometimes you're not even top 5 in the SEC. That's the challenge this new conference presents. Not much of a challenge tonight for Oklahoma. Up big, we head to the 4th. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Between the 3rd and 4th quarters, they unveiled a new tradition here at Oklahoma. Little tribute to the late, great Toby Keith, who was
huge OU.
As big of a Sooner fan as there was, and that's going to be a season-long thing during home games between the 3rd and 4th quarter, and you could tell it was an emotional moment in the building.
Very much so. His wife and daughter out for that tribute, and everybody singing along to one of his songs. Outstanding. Lights go out, flashlights, phones come on. Wow. Just nasty in the middle. The penetration is what has made plays all night long, where backs are being contacted right at the line of scrimmage. Lewis Carter, the linebacker, with one heck of a play.
You think about where this program was a few years ago with its defense. Everybody knew they could score. Lincoln Riley, offensive mastermind, was producing Heisman winners and #1 picks. But it was the defense that prevented this team from taking the next step.
The snap. Ball start. Offense, number 19. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Sometimes that happens with coaches that are offensive-minded. That they start recruiting, and it's to satisfy one side of the ball, which was the offensive side. When Brent Venables came in, and you knew what this team was going to be about: physical, tough on defense. Built some depth, and seeing them tonight, we got to feel pretty good about the chances going into the SEC.
Brock being chased. Incomplete. 4th down. When Clark talked to Brian Bosworth early in the game, that was what Bos said. He said, hey, there was work to do to upgrade the personnel on defense. And Brent Venables, over the course of a couple of years, now going into season 3, has done that. And as Clark mentioned, when we went down to him last time, there's more coming.
He's done that, and he's loaded up the offensive side of it for his offensive coordinator, Seth Luttrell. I mean, they've got a quarterback that can fling it around and has great touch and zip. They're deep in the running backs room. The offensive line seems like it's going to be okay.
It will be Sooner ball after a 39-yard Temple punt. Early fourth quarter, Oklahoma up big.
The Friday night spotlight shines on Oklahoma's Memorial Stadium, which has been the Sooners' home for now 100 years. In 1925, the West Stands were erected at a cost of $293,000. The capacity a century ago was 16,000, and after multiple expansions, now is at 80,126. OU has won a whopping 417 games here, have had 152 straight sellouts. Only Nebraska has more, gentlemen, and it's the home of 7 Heisman Trophy winners. The stadium is named in the honor of university personnel who died in World War I and the Gaylord family who made a generous donation to complete one of the expansions. The crazy thing, and Anish, you mentioned it earlier, this is their first Friday night game ever at night.
Sure is, Clark, and there's more fireworks to be had. The true freshman quarterback, Michael Hawkins. There is a flag down after a run of 20 yards.
He is electric, isn't he? Ooh. Maybe a hold. It's going to bring this back.
Holding. Offense. Number 64. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
Joshua Bates, the redshirt freshman, in the game now from Durango, Colorado.
Andre, we were talking in the break. Hawkins comes in. You have the redshirt rule. You can play up to 4 games and still preserve your red shirt.
That's dead to me.
Why? 54.
Because you're developing him for someone else. A guy like this, he sits and doesn't get playing time. He's going somewhere else. You've got to keep him there. And then Jackson Arnold probably after next year, after 2025, will go into the draft. And then all of a sudden, now the job is for Michael Hawkins. But you don't have the luxury of redshirting anymore. Not with the portal.
Hawkins pass broken up. Nice play on the ball by Lewis Fry.
And I always tell people that, finish second in recruiting a kid, because he'll come back to you at some point. The way they're transferring, you want to be the first phone call they make when they go into the portal.
I saw something, I think it was Ross Dellinger from Yahoo Sports tweeted out the other day. Something like 63% of projected power conference starting quarterbacks transfers.
I saw that. I saw that
amazing.
same tweet, and that's why I couldn't agree more with Andre. I mean, you might not have him if you don't play him.
Able to complete. And there's Bauer Sharp, who's been a big target for both quarterbacks today. 5 catches.
I can tell you guys this. He has been warming up every time between the exchange of the ball. He is throwing the ball around. He being Michael Hawkins. So you don't think he wants to be on the field? He has kept himself ready just in case he got inserted into the game.
You're right, Andre. And last year, that was Jackson Arnold, right on the heels of Dylan Gabriel.
Yep.
Who's to say Dylan Gabriel just left Oklahoma early because he wanted a great new opportunity? The more that you watch Jackson Arnold play, you think Jackson Arnold was just going to sit all year?
Yeah, and you're seeing that in practice every day, and a guy just chipping away on your heels. Oh, he's running guys out of town.
Gabriel was a first-team.
This kid can play.
Gabriel was a first-team all-conference selection with 55 touchdown passes.
30 seconds.
Oklahoma, a year ago.
Where does a guy like that call home?
I think that's a different point.
You're playing for you started UCF and then you're transferring all around the place.
Where do you go back to?
There's a receiver, I can't think of his name right now, at Utah. probably his 5th school. How do you have that much eligibility to be able to transfer that many times?
You make a great point. You go back to Houston as a former Heisman Trophy winner who spent his entire career there. They roll out the red carpet.
Learn to compete.
But there's something about being an alum, right?
Yes.
Going back to
being able to
place
go
where you played
and call it home. If you're at 4 or 5 schools, where do you call home? Who's going to remember that you ever played there if you spent a semester or 2? It's ridiculous to me. Don't get me started, Anish.
It's the 4th quarter of a 34-point game, Andre. Elzinga kicks it away. Dante Wright. And circles. Upended. Ball's out again. Oklahoma picks it up. Scoop and score. That's a touchdown. You can't advance a muffed punt, but that was a fumble after he had possession, and a touchdown for the Sooners. Zion Kearney.
You turn it over on the road. Good football teams are going to make you pay, and Oklahoma has capitalized on each turnover that Temple has made. Wow.
Jaron Kanik was the one who ran it in, the other number 7. Little trouble on the snap and hold. They figure it out. The kick is good. 5 turnovers for Temple. 27 points off for Oklahoma.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
Dewey Selman, who was on the Oklahoma teams in 74 and 75 that won back-to-back national championships under Barry Switzer. He will go into the College Football Hall of Fame this December. He is brother Leroy and Lucius. Incredible trio on that Oklahoma defensive line. And again, this is a program, the success, the history, you put it up against any program in college football. Any program in college football.
That's, saying a lot. They've won a lot of football games. And you had to have been sleeping under a rock if you didn't know about the Selman brothers.
We were talking about a legacy and the lasting impression on teammates. When you don't transfer, you stay from the jump. How about Danny Stutzman? You talk about a legend. Just listen to this sound, and I'll have some words on the back end.
And I just know how much you guys put into this program, and sometimes you think it's not seen, but it is. And so with that being said, I want to donate some of my NIL earnings to you guys, so you guys can have a little something else after the meetings. This will be in your lockers.
He donated $50,000 of his own NIL dollars to 18 walk-ons on the team. He wanted those players to know how much they mean to this program and their influence on all the starters, the grind that they have every single day in practice. They buckle up their chin strap and they do it, and they don't get any of the notoriety, any of the attention. And Andre, I know how you feel about this too. The walk-on piece in college football is so significant.
It is, but it's going away because rosters will be limited to 105 players, and so that's going to take away the ability to basically walk on at a place.
That becomes the new scholarship limit, and you got to imagine most teams, if they can, they're going to fill those spots with scholarship players instead of walk-ons. Yeah. And think of how many great programs were built because of contributions from walk-ons. Nebraska, Iowa, you go on and on.
Those guys end up Texas CEOs, and guys that are starting end up working for them. So you've got to treat your teammates right along the way. You've got to develop relationships, and if you're transferring every year, that becomes your thing. You know, you can't call them teammates really, because you were just there for a cup of coffee.
3rd and short. Fly sweep. John Adams moves the chains.
We're seeing a lot of reserves now, building some depth on defense. Brent Venables. A lot of substitutions in the game.
That's an opportunity to get these guys reps. And if you're Temple, yeah, final score is not going to be pretty, but you're going to walk away from this game when you study the film knowing exactly what the strengths and weaknesses of your team are, because they've been amplified.
And you've got to cut down on the turnovers. And they turned it over a bunch last year, and here we go again.
Ashton Allen with the reception. That is his first reception as a college football player. Last 4 years as a sprinter on the USC track team.
He's well put together. 6'3", 220. Made that catch look easy on a nice little timed out route.
Now a guy like him doesn't get another year to play football.
No. Which, you know, he's talking to Stan Drayton, says he wishes that he could have him for one more year.
Young man born in Philly, raised in the DMV. Brock on the keeper, and does he get enough?
I think David Stone thought he caused him to come up short. Actually, it's a first down.
Well, they were getting ready to move the chains, and now they will.
Moved them. Stay and compete. That's just my message. Compete. I was 4th team my freshman year going into the first game. Got to play in the 4th quarter, and then the rest is kind of history. Started the next week, but you got to see it through.
Oklahoma showing blitz. They bring it off the edge.
Nice pick
Good
up.
read. And another first down for Temple. It's the backup tight end, Landon Morris.
Nice job up front with the protection. They pick up the blitz. And right on time of getting it out to his tight end. He's a good-looking athlete at 6'5", 230.
Morris had to sit out last year as a 2-time transfer. Indiana and Utah before Temple. Strong run between the tackles by E.J. Wilson.
That's the most confusing thing about it all, is who's eligible and who's not. I mean, you allow a guy to play 7 years of college football, but you transfer twice and you got to sit out.
Well,
I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
If I can bring it to the bright side a little bit, I think this year, with the expanded playoff and a lot of what's going on in college football, the regular season, to me, is going to engage more fan bases for a longer part of the season, Andre.
Yes, indeed.
Intercepted. Jaden Hardy. And he spins out at the 30-yard line. So that's 6 takeaways by Oklahoma. Flag down at the very end of the play.
This 6th turnover.
Temple had 5 takeaways as a defense all of last year.
I mean, it's an easy message, isn't it? When this one's over for Stan Drayton. You turn it over like that, there is no way you're winning games, home or away.
Temple picked to finish last in the American. Stan Drayton's teams went 3-9 in each of their first 2 years.
After the interception, there are 2 fouls on the receiving team. Both of which are personal fouls. Personal foul, receiving team number 44. After the play, personal foul, 44 receiving team. Both penalties will be enforced. First down.
About 30 yards of penalties.
Sooners ball after the penalties and the pick. Here was the penalty on the last play. Taylor whined the guilty party for Oklahoma.
Yeah,
Watch what happens.
He's going to circle back and look up Forrest Brock. And you just can't do that to a quarterback. Not in today's age.
And then he gets one more.
It's 2 and 1 play. Just can't have it.
Hawkins still in there at quarterback for Oklahoma.
Wow.
They might have another one. That's Tatum, #1 running back coming out of high school. True freshman.
We're talking about Hawkins and his ability. His dad was a pretty good player too. Played at Oklahoma and in the NFL.
Hawkins keeps. Wow, zigzags his way for another Oklahoma first down.
Yeah, Andre, his father, Michael Hawkins Sr., played for Bob Stoops, was a defensive back before he played a ton of years in the NFL. This guy is a serious prospect, too. 8th-ranked dual-threat quarterback in the ESPN 300. Also won an accuracy challenge in an Under Armour event, so it just shows you, like a lot like Jackson Arnold. Can do it with his feet, can do it with his arm.
It's why you can't sit him and not play him and expect him to be there multiple years in today's climate. You got to play him.
Taylor Tatum is on the Kyler Murray plan. He'll play outfield for the Sooners baseball team in the spring.
Wow.
Remember, Murray, not only the first pick in the NFL draft, he was the top 10 pick of the Oakland A's in the MLB draft. Tatum again, big hole. Cuts it back to the 25-yard line. Tripped up on the logo. 36 yards for the true freshman from Longview, Texas.
As I.O. Powell saved a touchdown run by just clipping the shoestrings of Taylor Tatum. But you see why they're so high on this true freshman. My goodness, there's an abundance of talent here in Oklahoma.
Yeah, they've had some good running backs, obviously, in recent years. Ramondre Stevenson, Samaje Perine, Joe Mixon, Eric Gray. Obviously, go back to Adrian Peterson and DeMarco Murray. Sidearm slingshot, complete inside the 20.
That throw tells me all I need to know. That simple throw, because it's so hard to change arm angles. And everybody, most guys are going to come over the top with that throw, and you can't complete it that way. You have to make the adjustment.
Hawkins looking to the sideline for a long time. Bates the center.
Milking the clock down. It's about 10 seconds or so.
Now Franklin inside the 10. First and goal.
When the receiver gets a block, it's a touchdown. Oh, my goodness. One block on the outside, and that's why it's the best team game in all of sports, because one component goes wrong and the whole thing may blow up. Everybody does their job, and it looks beautiful.
Hawkins will throw. Corner of the end zone.
He can spin it.
Now too much helium. Wanted Jaquez Petaway.
But it's good to see that they're continuing to run the offense with Michael Hawkins. It's a long season. You don't know when you're going to need him, so don't put him in there just to hand the ball off. Have him operate the offense, so if you need to go to him at some point in the season, he has some type of experience.
You're running plays. Seth Luttrell, new offensive coordinator. Hawkins takes off. It'll bring up 3rd down and goal. No gain on the play.
And some people will say, well, you're running the score up when you're throwing it like this. No, you're getting a guy playing experience. You're getting a young Taylor Tatum playing experience. Guys that you may have to depend on if there are injuries.
Oh, this is the bizarre stat in the game. Oklahoma, despite being up 41, 0 for 11 on 3rd down. Speed option, Tatum coasting in for his first Oklahoma touchdown.
What a good block there by Kearney, the wide receiver, to get him into the end zone. Otherwise, maybe he may have been stopped around the 2-yard line, but an excellent block by Zion Kearney on the outside. You gotta do sometimes just position yourself. You don't have to throw a knockout block. It's just a position block to allow Tatum to get into the end zone.
Well, that touchdown mattered for some folks. 34 points off 6 turnovers now.
Up late
for Oklahoma. Up late for a reason.
Keeping an eye on it, huh? Wasn't the prettiest, but it went through.
Seen that a couple of times now. Well, we're just your appetizer. We have TCU Stanford after us, and then tomorrow, first big college football Saturday, Clemson and Georgia, 4 of the last 8 national championships between those two. Miami, Florida, big rivalry game. Notre Dame, Texas A&M. Mike Elko against Riley Leonard, different sidelines. They were together at Duke last year. Elko now the A&M head coach. Leonard, the Notre Dame quarterback. USC and LSU replacing 2 Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks.
I'm anxious to see that Clemson-Georgia game. I think that could be a pretty good game in Atlanta.
Clemson's got a little something to prove.
He's doing it the old-fashioned way.
No transfer portal for Dabo Swinney.
He wants to develop, have them there, develop them, and play them rather than plug holes. Or maybe he doesn't have any. But I'm anxious to see that game.
And Georgia reloaded. Carson Beck, considered one of the top quarterback draft prospects for 2025.
He is a good one, accurate. Now he's got a total, a full year in that system. I think it's going to be even better this year for him.
And then BC, Florida State on Labor Day. Seminoles looking to bounce back after the loss to Georgia Tech in Dublin. Well, one of the things that's new in college football this year, Andre, you can use the tablet on the sideline.
I mean, you're talking right away, seeing and having a conversation with coaches and correcting on the spot. It goes a long way, and it's good to see it finally.
Be honest now. If that was you, 51-3, you're playing solitaire, aren't you? Candy Crush?
Oh, not if I'm in the game.
Perez Worthy, top junior college rusher at Lackawanna last year, gets the call.
Had to sit for a play with his helmet coming off.
Yep.
I don't really see a lot of that anymore, dude. Once that rule was, we put that into effect, guys start buckling up pretty tight.
A little tighter. With the play clock running down, Brock still in there. Reds one across the middle to Ashton Allen, the USC sprinter.
Getting him reinserted into football, and his first game, as you've mentioned, since high school, after running track at USC. 1 year of eligibility, chose Temple, and they were glad he did.
He's a Maryland kid who initially chose USC to be near his 2 brothers who also ran track there.
This is a 2-minute timeout.
That's new in college football, too. We take the 2-minute timeout. 51-3 Oklahoma. 15 years ago, TCU was in the Mountain West and SMU was in Conference USA. And tonight they meet in a Big 12 ACC clash.
Wow. I mean, just the whole dynamic of how things have changed.
You saw it firsthand. You were in the old Southwest Conference.
Yeah. Saw it when it was starting to splinter and split, and Arkansas was the first to leave to go to the SEC. And a few years later, Texas and A&M decided to go to the Big 12, and everything came crumbling down with that conference.
Big 12 lost. Texas and Oklahoma reloaded with the likes of Colorado, Utah, Arizona State. A year ago, they added BYU and UCF and Houston. Cincinnati. ACC adding SMU, Cal, Stanford.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, and I should mention, I said TCU, Stanford is the game after us, so that would have been Mountain West, Pac-12. 15 years ago, obviously, Stanford in the Pac-12, not SMU. Conference realignment, it spins. Yeah, Mountain West and Pac-12 to now Big 12 and ACC. Oklahoma's in the SEC. They're on the verge of winning their first game as a Southeastern Conference program. 51-3 here in the waning seconds.
And Marcus Strong, a redshirt freshman, picking up a sack late here.
Temple's road losing streak will go to 15. Longest in the country. And Brock sacked again.
Marcus the big
Strong
fella again. 2 plays, 2 sacks.
Getting in the box score late.
Wow, are they good in the middle?
Oh, yeah.
They are good in the middle.
Oklahoma begins its journey as an SEC program with a thorough 51-3 win against Temple. Sooners continue their run here in this building where they have been so good over the years. 18 straight home openers that Oklahoma has now been victorious. Final score from Norman, 51-3. OU on top of Temple. For Andre Ware, Paul Carcaterra, and Matt Austin, I'm Anish Shroff. Thanks for watching. Now back to the studio and Kelsey Riggs.